Let's jump back in time. We're talking 2,500 years to ancient India to unpack a story about a monk, his community, and a lesson on self-awareness that feels, honestly, like it was written for us today.
So picture this. Our story kicks off with a guy named Gulasani. He's a wilderness monk, so he's really used to solitude, doing his own thing. But when he has to visit the main monastery for some business, well, let's just say his solo habits don't exactly fly with the group. Yeah, his behavior was so disruptive that a senior monk, the Venerable Sariputta, saw it as a perfect teaching moment. He realized he could use this situation to lay down some ground rules, not just for this one guy, but for everybody.
And this was the question that was buzzing around the monastery. I mean, what's the point of being so independent and free out in the wilderness if you can't even show basic respect when you're around other people? This really gets to the heart of the matter. Where does my personal freedom stop and my responsibility to the community start? All right. So Sariputta steps up and essentially delivers a masterclass in living well with others. The first part is all about social awareness. You can think of it as a guide to basic etiquette for when you leave your own private world and step into a shared one. Sariputta starts with the absolute basics. And this isn't some complex, high-minded philosophy. It's just practical, considerate stuff. Pay attention to where you sit so you're not stepping on toes. Know the house rules, respect other people's time. It all just boils down to seeing yourself as part of a group. And then the advice goes a little deeper, moving from just outward actions to your inner character. Like, can you take feedback gracefully, or do you get defensive? Are you focused, or are you all over the place? He also makes a timeless point about watching what you say, steering clear of gossip and trash talk. The goal's pretty simple. Be the kind of person others actually want to be around. Okay. So after laying out these social ground rules, Sariputta makes a pivot. He shifts the focus away from how we behave outwardly to the inner work that's needed to even make that possible. If the first part was about how you interact with the world, this next part is all about how you manage yourself. In this internal work, well, that's the real engine behind everything. Guarding the sense doors basically means being mindful of what you're letting in, what you see, what you listen to, eating moderately, keeping your energy up, cultivating deep focus. These aren't just for monks. They're the building blocks for anyone who wants a disciplined mind. So, Sariputta then distills all this discipline into 3 essential qualities. The first one is to be wakeful. And this isn't just about not falling asleep. It's a commitment to being alert, present, and actually engaged with what's happening in the here and now. The second quality? Be mindful. This is the next level. It's having a clear, moment-to-moment awareness of your own thoughts and actions as they're happening. It's that self-awareness to kind of see what you're doing while you're doing it. And the third quality, the one that ties it all together, is to be wise. Wisdom is the ability to take all that wakefulness and mindfulness and apply it skillfully. It's not just knowing what you're doing, but understanding why, and then choosing the best way forward. Which, of course, brings us to the big question. Why? Why do all this? Why follow all these rules and work on all this discipline? Well, Sariputta connects it all to a much higher purpose. This is not about just being a good boy or a good girl in a group. No, the goals here they're profound. First, to understand the teachings so deeply that you can explain them to others. Second, to achieve these incredible states of meditative peace. And third, to realize a superhuman state. And we're not talking about superpowers, but about a state of being that's beyond our normal, everyday reactive minds. And this is where the rubber meets the road. For Sariputta, the biggest failure is being unable to explain the point of your own practice. I mean, what good is all that discipline if, when someone asks you what it's all for, you're just stumped? So, just as Sariputta is finishing up this powerful lesson, another senior monk, the Venerable Moggallana, chimes in. He's been listening to this whole thing, and he has a question that completely reframes the entire discussion. It's a real game changer. Moggallana basically asks the question that we're all probably thinking. Is this super intense code of conduct just for the wilderness monks, like our friend Gulasani? The lone wolves who have a tough time fitting in? Or is there more to it? This is the climax of the whole story, and it hangs on this one single question. Should only the wilderness monks follow these rules,
Or do they also apply to the folks living right here in the middle of the community?
And Sariputta's answer is the punchline of this entire 2,500-year-old story. He says, oh yeah, the wilderness monks should follow these rules, but those who live inside the community, they should follow them even more so.
And that's the core lesson right there. It totally flips our usual thinking on its head. We often assume that our responsibility is somehow less when we're in a group, but this teaching says the exact opposite. The more you're integrated into a community, a team, a family, a society, the higher the standard for your own conduct and self-awareness needs to be. Why? Because your impact on others is that much greater.
So that leaves us with a really interesting question to think about. In your modern life, where's your private wilderness? Maybe it's when you're working from home, or just how you act when you think no one's looking. And where is your community? Your office, your friends, your online groups? And the real question is, are you holding yourself to a higher standard when you step out of one and into the other?